Namaskaram, Bhagavad Gita, 18th chapter, Sloka 54. So, in this Sloka, Lord Krishna concludes the description of the stage of perfection. The last three slokas were about the jnanis, how they attain the stage of perfection, that is Brahman realization. So, here in this sloka, Lord Krishna says how jnanis also get into the bhakti, devotion to God. So, he is keeping a small twist here. He is highlighting the bhakti marga. Why he is saying this? In this, bhakti marga is the best suited to everybody. So, he says that jnanis also, after attaining the stage of perfection, they go towards the bhakti, devotion to God. They start loving God through devotion. So, this sloka says, one situated in transcendental Brahman realization becomes mentally serene. So, there is no grieving, he has no desires, being equally disposed to all living beings, all living creatures. As far as he is concerned, everything and everybody is same. Everybody looks same because he is looking at everyone and everything as Atma, because he believes that everything is Brahman. Brahman lives in everything. Bhagavan lives in everything and everybody. Such yogi attains supreme devotion unto me. So, he is saying that even after reaching that stage, he attains the stage of devotion. He likes to approach God. He likes to see God through devotion, through love towards God. So, at this stage, that is the Brahman realization, the jnanis do not have any, they don't feel anything towards painful experience, or they don't have any sort of joy or sorrow. They are away from all that. They don't grieve for anything. They have no desires. So, there is no disappointment and they don't long for anything. Whatever they get, they are very happy with that, and they don't feel that there is something incompleteness in them. They are in the platform of Brahman realization, that is realization of knowledge. They got that jnanam about God. Then one attains Parabhakti, that is next stage, that is they are reaching Parabhakti. That Parabhakti is the supreme stage of bhakti or devotion. And jnanis feel that bhakti is an intermediate step to Brahman realization. So, that is why Krishna is talking about bhakti here, bhakti marga here, and he says that bhakti marga is the most suitable for many of us, because we can't be, it is difficult for us to follow the path of jnana marga, whereas bhakti marga is very much suited to all the people. So, that is why he is highlighting here bhakti marga. So, he has explained about Atmarams, that is those who are fixed in self knowledge, and those who are liberated souls and do not have any possessiveness about any material, and they have the possession of bhakti towards God. So, they are at that stage. So, if we look at the Puranas, we find the sons of Brahma, that is during the Satya Yuga, you find the sons of Brahma, they visit Vaikuntha and they find the Tulasi at the feet of Lord Vishnu, and that fragrance, it goes through their nostrils and they get mesmerized by that, and they are very much attracted towards the one who is adorned with Tulasi. So they like to be with God, they like to see God in the form. So they didn't mind even go to away from the divine abode and see they wanted to see the Lord, the Bhagavan in some form. Then in the next yuga, Treta Yuga, the Janaka Maharaja, he was also in the stage of Brahman realization. But after seeing Lord Rama, that is Brahman, they didn't have any form for God in their mind. Anything is God for them. After seeing Rama, Janaka Raja, he is switching over to Bhakti. He wants to know more about Lord Vishnu. He wants to know more about the qualities, the Kalyana Gunam, the divine qualities of Lord. So they are switching over to Bhakti. And in the next yuga, Dwapara Yuga also, Shukadev, he was in his mother's womb for 12 years because he didn't want to come out, because he was scared of that Maya. Maya would be surrounding, so I don't want to come out. But Narada says nothing will happen, you come out. Then he comes out, and with this power, yogic power, he attained the stage of 12-year grown boy, and he went to the state of Samadhi. Then Ved Vyas came to know about it, so he sent the people to chant slokas describing Lord Krishna's form. So they are chanting it into the ears, and he developed the liking for seeing Lord Krishna in a form. And in Kali Yuga, we find there were so many people born in Kali Yuga to describe, to go after this, to worship the form, a particular form of Lord Vishnu. And Adi Shankaracharya, who taught Advaita, he wrote many verses about Lord Krishna, Rama, and he described the form and qualities of the divine qualities of Lord Krishna, Lord Rama. So the Bhakti Marg is highlighted here. So it has been happening right from the Satya Yuga. Then how is it relevant to our life today? Because we are discussing all this under how Bhagavad Gita is a manual for our daily life. Yes, we are all moving in the Bhakti Marga, only that is suitable for us, because we can't be going like sannyasis and do meditation, or we can't be taking their life. So what is best suited for us? The Bhakti Marga. So through Bhakti Marga, what do? We do puja with whatever material, because Lord accepts anything from us. So that is the simplest way to realize God or to reach Lord. So that's what Krishna says in this sloka. So for our lifestyle, Bhakti Marga is the best one, and whatever we have, whether it is flower or whether it is leaf, he accepts everything, even water. So we offer it to God. That is more important. Offer it to God, surrender to God, and let's think of, or let's fix the name and form of God in our mind. Because when you fix the name and form of God in our mind, nothing will distract us. Like how jnanis, they are away from the possession of material, they are away from hatred, they do not have desires. So all these qualities we can also develop by fixing the Lord, that is Bhagavan, in our mind. How do you do that? That is why Krishna says that Bhakti Marga is the best for the people, especially in this yuga. So we worship Lord Vishnu in different forms and by different names. So let us hear more about his qualities, more about the Puranas, and more about the events connected to his life. So if we keep hearing that, if we chant slokas on him, and if we keep the form of God in our mind, then we will not be disturbed by the external factors. That is more important. That is what we learn from this sloka. This sloka keeps us away from all this negativity and away from all this unwanted disturbance, unwanted qualities which we tend to acquire. We tend to get influenced by many things happening around us. For that, it is very important to keep the name and form of God in our mind. So because we find people making fun of our religion, and people are asking, why you have so many gods? You say that God is one, then why in your religion there are so many gods? We should be in a position to say that, yes, in whichever form I like, I keep that form in my mind. For that only the God himself has, God revealed himself in so many forms. We worship him in many forms, by many names. So let us have it, whichever name and form we have like, let's keep it in our mind so that we will not be disturbed. And why having temples? The importance of temples, that is Archavataram. We worship Lord Vishnu in different forms because it took so many avatar incarnations. So we have the darshan of Lord in different forms in different temples. So temples are very important. And when you visit temple and have darshan of Lord in that form, definitely that is fixed in your mind. So temples are very important. There we chant the slokas. So we should know the importance of temples. We should know the forms and names of Lord Vishnu. Why we have so many in our religion? What is the important significance of all this? For that we should know this sloka, and this sloka explains the Bhakti Marga. So Bhakti Marga is we worship Lord Vishnu in different forms and by different names, and every form is attached to the incarnations of Lord Vishnu. So all the more we should know more and more about. So we should contemplate on God. That is very important, to learn more about Sanatana Dharma. So in that way it is very much relevant to today's life, and it is a manual for our life so that we will not get disturbed. And we know how to explain. So we should be in a position, because we should always feel that I belong to this religion, that is Sanatana Dharma. It is good for everyone. It doesn't harm anyone. And why we have so many names and forms, that is the most important thing all of us should know. And chanting his names is very, very, very important. It is very sacred for us, because when you chant his name, it protects us from all the bad situations and from any bad things happening to us. Thank you.